Could the Green Bay Packers be signing a former first round draft pick? Who am I talking about, guys? I'm going to break that down in this video. If you like the content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay, so one thing we know is that Brian Gutekunst, he loves speed. Okay, so when you look on the offensive side of the ball and what he has done over the last couple of years, he loves speed. You talk about guys like Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Luke Musgrave. Those are game changers. When you got athleticism and speed out there, it is so tough for a defense to account for that. Okay, so what about the defensive side of the ball? We know that Jeff Hafley, the new DC in Green Bay, he loves chaos and disruption around the line of scrimmage. Okay, so what better personnel to do that than guys that are athletic, guys with speed, guys that are just going to fly to the ball. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in this video. But first, who is the first round draft pick that the Packers could realistically be adding to this team? We're talking about Devin White out of Tampa Bay. Okay, so let's see what former Pro Bowl defensive lineman Mike Daniels had to say about them going and getting Devin White. He said he is excited about the shift to a 4-3 defense and how it could impact Kenny Clark. Nobody knows that better than Mike Daniels, right? When we start talking about how athletic linebackers really just opens up things for the D linemen. Daniels believes that Packers should sign free agent linebacker Devin White, and this makes complete sense. Let's hear what he has to say. To play in the new scheme, the Packers are moving to a 4-3, and if they bring in Devin White to play next to Campbell, you might as well be fitting Kenny Clark for a gold jacket. That's what he has to say. Of course, we all know that Devondre Campbell is probably going to be on his way out. It says right there, Green Bay could be moving on from Campbell this offseason, but Daniels' points still stands. White could be part of starting alongside a trio, an amazing trio. When you start talking about Quay Walker and how athletic that guy is, and then you add a guy like Devin White to build around, oh my gosh. Can you imagine that? Adding a top linebacker makes sense for the Packers. Uh, uh, any Anything that makes Clark's life easier is a win for the defense. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler and one of the best interior defensive linemen in the game. That goes without question. Clark is coming off of arguably the best season of his career, and it's no coincidence it happened when the Packers strengthened their defensive line. I don't know about you guys, but man, that's just super exciting news for me when I see something like that. But here's the thing, my first instincts was like, there's no way we can afford a guy like Devin White. I know that he's coming off of, he had some struggles this last season, but let's take a look at a projection um, when it starts talking about a contract projection for Devin White. Once seeking 9-figure contract, White will have to settle for a 1-year prove-it deal. With elite athleticism for his position and with pass rushing numbers that would make some edge rushers red with envy, White has struggled in two areas that are most important for off-ball linebackers: run defense and coverage. Okay, so is that something Jeff Hafley could work with? Time is going to tell with that. Okay, so when we start talking about Devin White and a 1-year deal, prove it in a prove it year, what better place to do that than in Green Bay under a new scheme, a new defensive scheme there with Jeff Hafley? I think that would be absolutely without question. Just it makes complete sense. Okay, so let's take a look at, so when we start talking about draft and adding speed and athleticism, you guys probably all have heard what Peyton Wilson was able to do when we start talking about, what he was able to do at the combine and the numbers he put up. Peyton Wilson projected second rounder. However, after this combine and his results, he's projected to be moving up either early second or first rounder. Um, in 47 games with the Wolfpack, he had 48 tackles for loss and 7 picks. Okay, this dude can fly, he can cover, he's all over the field. Can you imagine a Devin White a Quay Walker, and then somebody like a Peyton Wilson. But with what he is doing at the combine, okay, so let's take a look actually what he did at the combine. Let's check out his speed here. Stupid speed, a 4.44. That is just ridiculous, unheard of. Uh, Super talented dude. Okay, so but with what he's able to do at the combine, it leaves me questioning. Okay, do we want to take a chance and either take him early in the second round or use a first round pick for him? I personally wouldn't. I think we have bigger needs that we need to address there, and especially there might be better guys on the board. Combine can be one of those things. He is a late second rounder, in my opinion, but because he's putting up such good numbers at the combine, so who's a realistic guy that I think the Packers really need to consider? A guy like, what about Edrin Cooper, right? So when we start talking about what this guy was able to do, let's take a look at some of his stats. It says a tackling machine, a forceful defender. Cooper was an unstoppable force during junior season en route of helping the Aggies rank seventh among Power Five teams in total defense. The linebacker led the SEC and ranked 11th nationally with 17 tackles for loss in 1 year. Cooper, team best 84 total tackles and 8 sacks, ranked sixth and fourth in the SEC, respectively. Cooper also helped Texas A&M Aggies finish top 3 in total tackles for loss, 96, and sacks, 42 as a unit. The Aggies also finished 32nd nationally in scoring defense, 23.1 points per game, 13th in opponent third down success rate. So when we start talking about a guy like Cooper, and here's his overall description: he's athletic, can cover, and is aggressive. If that doesn't say Jeff Hafley's defense, I don't know what else does. I personally would love, a second round pick from an Elgin Cooper. I think that would be a dynamic when we start talking about adding maybe a guy like Devin White, Quay Walker, and then Cooper. Those three, when you start talking about athleticism, you start talking about speed, you start talking about aggressiveness, chaos, disruption around the defensive line that Jeff Hafley wants to build here in Green Bay. Nothing says that louder to me than adding a guy like Cooper personally. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments about Devin White. Is that an attainable? It's like a 1 year prove it type deal. Then he's going to cost a lot of money. But I think that would be a perfect quote unquote gamble for the Packers to go and get Devin White and then go and draft somebody like Cooper. Let me know your thoughts. Go Pack Go.